A very good morning to everyone. So today what we'll be discussing is the chapter A House is Not a Home, Question and Answers. So let us start.
Short question and answers will be starting with. So, question number one. Why did the writer feel awkward during her first year of high school? It will be his. During his first year of high school, he felt awkward because it was a new school, much bigger than his previous school, junior high school, right? He was studying in the junior high school and now he was shifted to the new school, which was quite bigger than the previous one. And it was strange as well as a freshman after joining the benefits of being the senior most class in junior high. So in the previous school, he was in the senior most class, and now he was shifted to the bigger school. He also felt isolated as all his close friends had gone to different high schools, means he was not having any previous friend, any old friend with him, and he was also not aware of anyone. There nobody was knowing him, neither he was knowing them. Question number two, why did he continue to visit his old school? Because he missed his teachers so much that he continued to visit them at his old school. Moreover, it was a familiar place when she had spent many happy years. Means the teachers were very much aware of him, as well as he was also comfortable with the teachers. Thus, he he was feeling isolated in the new school without his friends, and he was liking the old school as well. Question 3. What advice did his junior high school teachers give him? They encouraged him to get involved with activities in his new school so that he could meet new people. They were confident that he would adjust in time and start loving the new school as well. Question number 4. What was the psychology behind the teacher's advice? Why did they give this advice to him? Because they were thinking that the child, he was being shifted, he was having a new mind, and he was being shifted to a new school. Thus, to change his mindset, they said this thing. To change his psychology, they said this thing. So that he would stop thinking about the past, about his past school. It was time for him to move on and face the reality of his situation, right? Question number 5. How do we know that her cat was very playful? Okay, his cat was very playful. We know that from the fact that he would swat at the writer's pen from time to time in a playful manner while she tried to complete her homework. Whenever the author was completing his homework, then the cat used to swat at the writer's pen, at the author's pen. Question number 6. Why was the cat so attached to the writer? Why is it so? Because the writer saved the cat when it had been a kitten. When it was small, the small cat, we call it as a kitten. And somehow it knew that the writer was responsible for the good life that it was presently enjoying. It was enjoying his life. Thus, now he was thinking that he had got this enjoyable life because of the writer. Question number 7. What happened one Sunday afternoon? So, an incident is mentioned in the story that we need to mention. The writer's house caught fire on one Sunday and it burned down completely. So, the house burned down completely because of the fire. Question number 8. Why did the writer's mother run back into the burning house? Why? Because the writer's father, he was dead. He was no longer existing with him. Thus, the memories of his father, the mother ran back to collect those memories, right? and some of the important letters, pictures of his husband. Question number 9. Why was the writer held back by the firemen? Firemen ने वापस writer को क्यों बुला लिया था? Was held back by the firemen to stop him from following his mother into the burning house, as she could have lost her life. Number 10. How was the writer's mother rescued from the burning house? She rescued? The firefighters ran into the house and rescued the writer's mother. She was given oxygen mask to help her breathe normally again. Question number 11. How long did it take to bring the fire under control? Was the house habitable? Give reason for your answer. It took complete 5 hours to bring down the fire under control. The house was completely burned. It was not habitable. ये रहने लायक जगह नहीं बची थी. Question number 12. What did the writer realize when they were leaving the site of the burnt house? How did he feel? He realized that his cat was nowhere to be seen. He felt miserable as the firemen would not allow him to go into the house to look for the cat. Question number 13. Where did the writer and her mother go after their house burned down? So they needed some place, right, to live. They went to their grandparents' house, and later they rented an apartment till the old house was being rebuilt. Question number 14. Why does the writer say that he walked around his school like a zombie? Why was it so? Because the burning down of his house had been so sudden that it became as a shock to him, sorry. He had still not come to the terms with it. Along with this, he had to wear borrowed clothes and shoes. All the security he had known, her old school, her friends, her house, and her cat had all been wiped away from her, leaving her feeling desolate and empty. Question number 15. What shocked the writer on his visit to the site of the burnt house? She was shocked to see the extent of the damage caused by the fire, as well as the water and chemicals used during the rescue operation, because the damage of the fire had been up to a great extent. Question number 16. Why does the writer say that she had no time to grieve? Because she, he and his mother had to start life afresh at once, because they had lost means whole of the things, right? They had to find a new place to live and buy some clothes for his school. They did not have time to spend the feelings that what all things they have lost. Question number 17. Who did they borrow money from and why did they did so? They had borrowed money from their grandparents. Why? So, because all the credit cards, all the cash, and even their identification papers had been burnt in the fire. Hence, withdrawing money from the bank was also very difficult. Quite difficult it was, right? Question number 18. Why did the writer often go back to the site of the debris? Means wherever all the things they were burnt, but to find his cat, which had gone missing on the night of the fire. Question number 19. Why does the writer say that the bad news traveled fast? Because he realized that the school, including his teachers, classmates, were all aware of his plight, that what all happened with the boy. How did the writer feel about people knowing about his bad luck? He felt embarrassed, as if he had been responsible for the accident. He was not happy with the attention he was getting because of it. इन सभी चीजों की वजह से ये जो एक्सीडेंट हुआ था इसकी वजह से जो भी कुछ वो उसको मिल रहा था, he was the attention which he was getting, he was not liking that attention. Number 21. What surprised the writer in the school the day after the house burned down? When the house was burned, and what was surprising thing that happened with him? So he was surprised to see the people crouching around him before the gym class. When he was going to the gym class, they were saying him to hurry up, and it seemed that they were trying to show her into the gym कि वो उसको जबरदस्ती धक्का मार के जिम में भेज रहे हैं. Question number 22. What surprised the writer on entering into what he saw there? He was surprised to see a big table set up with all the kinds of things for him, including the school supplies, the notebooks, as well as the clothes. Question number 23. How did the writer feel on seeing the gifts that he got in the gym on the gym table? He was overwhelmed, means वो overjoyed हो गया था emotions के साथ. उनका जो genuine outpouring था concern का, that thing touched his heart. And for the first time he made friends and felt accepted in high school. High school में उसने friends बनाए उस दिन, and he felt accepted that he had accepted the high school, and same way the high school had also accepted him. Question 24. What were the changes that took place in the life of the writer from the time his house was burnt till it was rebuilt? He was he no longer felt lonely. He had made new friends in the school, had become more open and accepting of the changes that had taken place. He no longer felt any insecurity in the high school. Last question, students. Last short answer type question. Why had the woman been trying to contact the writer? Because the writer's cat had run away from the house on the day that it had burnt down. The cat was found by the lady who saw the telephone number on the cat's collar and tried to contact the writer so as to give the cat back to him. Now let's move on, students, to the long answer type question. We are completely done with the short answer type questions. I think you would have learned these. Question number 1. What are the changes observed in the writer's attitude from the time his house was burnt till it is rebuilt? So, what all changes he felt, and what all changes the audience they felt? In the beginning, before his house was burnt, the writer was unhappy in his new school. He felt awkward and lonely starting as a freshman after having been a senior in the junior high school. He found it difficult to relate to his classmates and teachers, and continued to visit her old school टीचर्स who he missed terribly, मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा उनको मिस करता था वो. Or after the fire, he was deeply touched by the generosity, the kindness shown by her new schoolmates and teachers. He was overwhelmed and started opening up to them, making new friends. The tragedy thus helped him to mature and become more open and accepting of the changes that were taking place. He was no longer insecure. No longer insecurity was being felt by him. Question number 2. Would you call the lady who returned the cat a kind and sensitive person? Yes, of course. The lady was a kind and sensitive person who returned the cat, who returned the cat to the author, because she allowed the cat into her house and took care of him for complete the days when she gave it back. She understood that it must have strayed from its home and needed to be taken care of. Secondly, she realized that it was loved by someone who was desperately trying to locate it. It was very selfless, generous on her part to try and locate the owner. She took a lot of time and trouble to reunite the cat with his family without expecting anything in return, because she was not at all selfish that she'll be getting something after returning the cat. She just wanted to give it back because the owner of the cat would be feeling very bad by getting separated from the cat. Question number 3. What kind of relationship did the writer share with his mother? give reasons to support your answer. The writer was very close to his mother, his father, and had died years ago. And the only immediate family he had was his mother. Even though it was mentioned that there had been many times when he felt as though she hated his mother, it is clear that the fire brought them closer, supported each other as they rebuilt their lives, both physically as well as emotionally. The writer's mother had run into the house to rescue her husband's letters and photos. At that point, the writer had been so relieved when the firemen brought her mother out safely that she ran up, hugged her. She accepted the changes that were unavoidable as a result of the tragedy and supported her mother in every way that they could he could. Question number 4. The cat and the writer are very fond of each other, right? How was this being shown in the story? Where was the cat after the fire? Who brings it back and how? We know that the writer and the cat was very fond of each other because they were always together. Even when he did his homework, the cat would sit on the top of his pages, purring loudly and occasionally swatting at a pen for entertainment. Also in the mornings when the writer would disturb it, the cat would climb into the pocket of the writer's robe and go to sleep. After the fire, when the cat disappeared, the writer missed it terribly. The cat had been so frightened of the fire that it had run off over a mile away, where it was rescued by a kind hearted woman. Even though the writer's phone number was written on the cat's collar, the lady was not able to contact the writer because of the phone had been destroyed in the fire. The lady did not give up but worked hard to find the cat's family, as it was clear that the cat had been deeply loved and must be sorely missed by its owner. Question number 5, children. What actions of the writer's schoolmates change her understanding of life and people and comfort him emotionally? The fact that his schoolmates got together and collected the school supplies, notebook, clothes like jeans, tops, and sweatsuits for him affected the writer deeply. He was touched and overwhelmed as well that the people who had never even spoke to him before came up and introduced themselves very warmly to him. He got several invitations to their homes, and their genuine outpouring of concern made him feel a little less lost and sad. He felt more accepted, and his loneliness vanished completely. Question number 6. What is the meaning of the sentence? My cat was back and so was I. Had the writer gone somewhere? No. Why does he say that? Because जब से उसकी cat गुम हुई थी तो वो भी बहुत ज़्यादा lonely feel कर रहा था कि मेरा सब कुछ lost हो चुका है, but जैसे जैसे सब कुछ रिकवर होने लगा उसको जैसे ही वो कैट मिली, सो ही सेड दैट जैसे मेरा मन तो कैट में ही खोया हुआ था एंड जैसे ही वो आई मैं भी वापस आ गया. The writer means to say that the return of his cat marked an end to the period of loss and loneliness that he had and her mother had been experiencing since their house burned down in the fire. The writer and his mother had lost all their possessions, and for a month they had to survive on charity and donations from the acquaintances and family members like the grandparents and the aunt. However, by the time the cat was returned to her by the kind lady who had rescued it and traced its family, the writer who had made many friends in a new school and regained for self-worth, she was once again in control of her life, his life, and secure in the acceptance and love of the people around him. With the return of his cat, it was as though his new life was now completed. Again, he had started a new life.
This was all about this chapter. We'll meet in the next class. Till then, keep learning and keep enjoying.